Hello and welcome to a new preview video of a game which is currently in development. This time we will have a look at Sandwalkers, a game which is calling itself a roguelike turn-based exploration game on Steam. So maybe you have played Curious Expedition and then you already have kind of an idea, but in case you haven't, we are sending out expeditions on a hex-based map of a post-apocalyptic desert-like world. The game apparently is Dune-inspired, that's what the developers say. So it's a post-climate change catastrophe world, everything is dead. Well, not everything, there are a couple of trees and so on, but we need to plant kind of live trees, which are also our new bases, and we are gathering experience, but experience which we can transfer to our home base, and on our next runs, in case we die, we can get a head start using these experience of previous expeditions. So it sounds very interesting, and the game is developed by a French team called Goblinz Studio and published by Goblinz Publishing, so it's the same team basically, and there are 15 people working in that company, so it's not exactly a one or two man project. They are currently gathering additional money for the game on Kickstarter. 40,000 euros is the goal, and the game is scheduled for an early access in the second quarter of 2023. If you want to receive the game via Kickstarter, you would need to pledge at least 20 euros for the lowest tier, which includes the game, and I think that's a bit of a critical price. I think for 15 euros it would have been a no-brainer for me, but 20 euros is kind of the price point where I see the game at the Steam Early Access. Maybe it's 25 or 30 euros. But yeah, you need to estimate whether or not it's worth the risk for you, because on Kickstarter you might of course not receive anything if the project is successfully funded, but the game is then never released, for example. So yeah, that's a decision you have to make, but together with this Kickstarter release, they also released a demo version, a prologue of the game, and that's what we will check out in this preview. So let's have a look. And here we are in the game. We will first have a quick look into the settings, a really quick look, because there isn't much, there's just the language. And I looked into the German localization before. The translation seems to be okay, but there are a couple of typos, and unfortunately in important places, so that needs to get some additional polish. But of course this is still a very early version, and it's surprising that they have the localization at all at this stage. So let's start a new run. Unfortunately, regarding the volume, I already adjusted the volume, but in Windows, but of course I cannot do that well on the fly because there's nothing in the settings, right? So we start a new run, and because I already finished this demo prologue version once, I have the option to put my own team together. Normally you would start out with a predetermined 4-people team. We have more than 4 slots here, but we can only select 4 characters, and we always get like 3 characters presented here, and then we can once we choose one, we get a replacement for that one. So we get an overview about all the abilities, traits, and attacks, and you can also see the kind of attributes. I think that could have been improved, because now you can click on info. You get basically the same information again, but now you can mouse over. I think they could have done it in a way that it's available in that screen already. I think that's one step too much. So yeah, we got the 4 stats: intuition, constitution, charisma, and agility, and the resistances. And the resistances also indicate that we got the different damage types here. And this character, for example, has this oneric damage type, and this would be the resistance for that. And I think one thing is poison, right? Yeah. And so we have different attacks. We have traits which are not implemented yet. We have equipment, which well, it is implemented, but it's not really playing any role in this preview version yet. And we have the abilities. And this is having effects on the world map. I couldn't see any real influence on that though. So yeah, so we select 4 characters for our team now, and the first character I will select is the Protector, basically a tank character, and I will go into more details of the skills in a bit, but of course it's a wide range of everything. So let's take the Protector. The second character is this Oniromancer, the Sonic guy here. Then we choose the Hydromancer, which is, as the name indicates, doing water damage. And we take the Hunter, which is doing, I think, fire damage and the just normal damage, basically. So recruit. And with that, we start in our main base, in our village, which is some kind of tree thingy. The echo of a bird song on the mossy leaf-covered walls of moving shadows protected us from the filthy was time immemorial. Only Caravaneers and the mad would leave the bark of Lequasi. Yeah, lots of like special names here. We can click either on the buildings, like on the merchant or on the council, but there's nothing. With the merchant we can trade, but we don't have anything to sell. And the other buildings are basically, you just click on them you get some text and some effects. And most of the time, like your orchard, you just get food, which is a bit weird. I think there should be some more involvement there. This feels a bit bland. So we can't do much more here, so we leave. And with that, we are on the world map. And we can see, well, everything is hex-based. We get nice music. We can see that there is an enemy with the red border. We can see that there's probably another enemy. And these green borders indicate that there is some kind of, well, not really events, but there are resources you can get there. They're also like very small. I don't see any of these. Sometimes there are very small icons also indicating resources. What I think is very cool is the music, which you can see there is a layer of the vocals. And then you have the drums in the background. And now I'm opening the quest view. And you hear that the voice is still present, but everything else is behind of a layer of mists. So, or it's slowed down or anything like that. So I think it's a really nice effect. So once I go back, then you have the drums setting in again. This is a really cool effect, I think. And yeah, so we have the quests here, and this is, we should go to this town of Jaja, and we should bring them some items, some present we got with us. And this is also what is displayed here on the top left. Go to Jaja. And this is actually a compass pointing to the southeast. We can also have another look at our caravan of our different characters. And well, there's the hit points, also the shield. But this is, by the way, the shield will automatically refresh in every combat. The hit points need to be healed. And with that, we can start our expedition, and we will first go into this area, and you can see that we will get some food and water. And yeah, there's some enemies, and they are protecting this this other thing. But we will not go there. I will try to avoid them as far as possible. Yeah, that's fine. So you can see that with every move, we are using one food or one supplies, which you can see in the top right. And if there is an elevation, we actually use more food. So in this case, we would need 2 food to go to the drylands. I don't think that for now, now you can see that there, for example, is a tile which also gives some yields but it's not as much as like this, for example. We move on to this tile, which increases our viewing range, and we continue exploring. So now we got 4 food, for example. So we need to try and find as many of these as possible so that we don't get into a situation where we are running out of supplies. And these scrolls are indicating events. And I think that's probably my main issue with the game for now, is that there is just not enough interesting stuff. So we have found a stone. We can either unblock the geyser, which I think is doing nothing, and we can take supplies. And this is the event. We took the water to refill our supplies, 50 more supplies. And that's it. And I don't think that there's any more interesting events in the game for now, which is kind of sad. I mean, in a Curious Expedition, you have all these very interesting, I think, very interesting events, and you have to make decisions and so on. And in this case, you really, okay, do you have this class? Okay, then you get some more resources, and that's it. And I think the game definitely needs to offer more in that regard. Otherwise, it's just the exploration for now in this demo version. I mean, we will play through the whole demo version. You will see everything. There's just not enough interesting stuff to find in the world for now. So there's another a town we can explore. And again, we go to the town. And yeah, all we get is some resources, and we now found or got this displayed on the map, and there's some new event. We ended up face to face with a vagabond bearing ill-fitting and extremely worn clothes. The traveler held an object far more valuable than someone with such an appearance should have, and begged us to take it. I think I already had this once, and this one is probably the only event where this kind of decision is being made. We can either accept and we get, I think, an item and we get attacked, and we can protect the escapee. The runaway explained that a group of pirates were in pursuit. We barely had time to prepare a trap. Alright, now we get into combat. Yeah, it's more of that I would like to see, but right now in the demo there's hardly anything. So yeah, this is the combat screen. We have 2 characters in the front, 2 in the back. And that also plays a role when attacking with these different abilities, because some abilities can only be used in the front row and some in the back row. We can right click on all the enemies and see their details. They also have their shields and hit points. And we can see the turn order in the top. So we are first, and then this guy will be active. And what I would have liked to see is when I mouse over this, that this guy is actually highlighted, which currently it's not. And vice versa. So if I mouse over here, it should be highlighted in the top. And I mean, it's displaying this text above the characters, but that's not clear enough. And it's showing which of my characters is going to attack and how much damage it will do. So that one will attack him for a certain amount of damage, so it will decrease the shield by quite a bit. Also it's enemy at the back. So yeah, they are very situational, all of them pretty much. So this is just doing fire damage, doubles the damage if it has some shield. So he has 2 shields, so it's doing twice the damage. And actually this one is first, right? So we can kill that one, and he should not do any damage at all because he's just dead right away. Alright, so now we got our water dude, and he can just do damage on all enemies. And let's do that. Alright. This is our tank. We don't really need any tanking in this fight. So we will just kill someone. This is doing damage. Alright. Now we got our Sonic guy. And he has a skill which is stealing memories, which can then be used for additional runs. And we will kill him and steal his memory. Alright. We attack with this, which is creating an open wound, so that the next damage is actually, the next attack is doing more damage. And and steals the buffs. I think he had, yeah, shield. Let's take that one. It was... that apparently was not a shield we can steal. Now our tank also has an ability which allows him to steal 50% of the enemy's shield. Or decrease, not steal. Which is quite good if there's a lot of shield on that character. So we can use memory overload. Yeah, it's not really that great, but I think that's best we can do at the moment. We will just attack with a standard arrow. And with that one you can see that, yes, that's the only one we can attack. Well, actually I think that one is attacking everyone. I'm not sure. Just damage. Yes. And let's use that one. Another shot here. And dead. And now we got some resources. And these are just like currency, I think. It's just some value. And the geomancy, that's a memory. And this is now also available in our Caravan overview. You have just recruited your new character. The layout of your team during fight can be changed in the Caravan tab. Alright, nice. So we have 5 characters now. And we got a twisted tentacle that looked almost like a tuber. It had a very different flavor, however. Yeah. So we can rearrange the team, and I'm not sure. This is kind of... Maybe the 5th character is never actually in combat. We can only use 4 in combat. I'm not sure, but it looks that way. With the items, we can exchange the items for food. So if I click on this root, I think we can't do anything with that. Yeah, we don't have any... distilled water here. We have this plus, and if we clicked on that, mouse over is not enough. If I click on that now, nothing happens. But if I select that, then I click on that, then it's swapped into actually resources. And this is a trash can, I think, and this is just trashing the item, of course. Alright, let's go back and continue exploring. We need to go to the city in the south now. And again, events, and because we have a hunter, we can place traps, we get some food, and that's it. It's always the same in this case. Now we reached our quest goal. The inhabitants were waiting for us, but they did not expect such a gift. Impressed, they leaned towards us, then announced that they would help us. Thanks. They spoke of a silt pit, a rare form of terrain, where tree cities could take root. We could not have hoped for a better instruction for the next part of the journey. And now we are in the town, and same as in the starting town, we can just click on all the stuff here. And we get some additional resources and characters healed. Council, yeah, and We can also buy and sell stuff, but there isn't really anything. The description of the items really needs to improve. For now, it doesn't really tell us what this is for. Or if this is even an item we can equip, it's absolutely not visible from here. So that's something to improve. And leave. So this is like our final destination, which for some reason is not the quest we have. We need to look for the MK ruins, and they are to the east. So let's go there, but let's collect that stuff. And there's another event. Yeah, again, these creatures are passing by, and we can, if we had a teller, could talk to them. Right now we can only collect the resources. We get some resources, and that's it. Alright. Now we need to climb that wall, unfortunately, but we get some resources from that. And we need to go there. Some ruins. The valley itself seemed to speak to us. Here lay the remains of Rampants, Bigorns, and Mantilis, MK caravan that had vanished and perished in the Fifi. We had found Talula, yeah, a lot of name dropping, the 7th caravan. And if I understand it correctly, in the final game you will also, if you die, then the remains may be still in the world and you might stumble upon them of your previous caravans. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounded that way. Now we listen. The memories locked within the relics told us the last moments of the 7th more than 150 years before. They told us of the location of unique discovery without further explanation regarding its nature. What kind of discovery would be worth the sacrifice, no matter the risk? We need to know. Alright, so we have a new quest target, which is now in the north. Let's go there and see what we've got there. Just like the rising and ebbing tide, unradiant sands covered and uncovered entire cities. Search or listen to the spirits. Our Oniromancer meditated and learned more of the history of the city through a reminiscence carried in the murmurs of the Fifi. Yeah, and otherwise, probably, yeah, had found less. But because we had this character, more gains. Alright, let's go there. There's another event. Let's take that as well. Yeah, we can only fill our gourds and get some more resources. Again, more resources, but I think the maximum is probably at 200, so we can't get more there. And we need to go further north. And there it is. The ruins only got bigger as we approached. It seemed as if we'd never reach them. How could the ancestors have built such immense and fragile places? And now we can enter. What we saw that day, no MK could possibly imagine. The mural showed a sort of burnt down tree forest. Was this the fruit of an overactive imagination, or did Uvandu once have tree forests? Yeah, because everything is desert. Well, not really desert. It's more like cactuses and so on. Yeah, but after this climate catastrophe, the whole world went to shit, and now we have this like pre-climate change stories where everything was still a forest. Do you recall that butterfly attracted by our fire's ardent flame? Oh well, said he, better to shine for a second than to live in the shadows. Could that butterfly even imagine? Could it even imagine that by burning it would carry away the entire forest? Memorize. We took to the road once more, our minds filled with dizzying questions. Alright, and we have the poem of the grandpa, which is probably additional memories here. Yeah. And yes, we can store them then in our like city, but for now, in this demo prelude version, we can't do anything with that. And now we do not have any quests left, which is a bit weird. We still, I mean, we kind of know that we need to go there because it became visible at some point, but it's a bit weird that we don't have any quests left. So either way, we go there now. And try to also get these events here. Yeah, listen to the spirits. We get some more memory here. Okay. And let's continue. There's another event. Collect resources. Yeah, there's not enough diversity, variety of the events. Yeah, it's a town, but there's nothing interesting in the town. We just get, yeah, additional view. And here we are at this monster thing, which we will fight now. And let's right click on the enemy to see what it can do. So it has more, it has more armor, so physical damage is reduced. It has a very weak water resistance, so we should try and do anything regarding to that. 12 liquid damage and causing sedated. Alright. Snap is 7 air damage. And it gains 10 shields and deals 15 liquid damage to an enemy. Alright, with a poison shot. So let's use the... I mean, unfortunately, he's attacking that character. Actually, he's attacking both of these characters, as you can see. We can't debuff the enemy with this one. So... the target has some shield. It does have some shield. So let's fire here. Do 10 damage. And their... their damage is reduced. They have this impaired now. Removes all debuffs applied to an ally. This generates 4 shield. Let's use it here. And now we got that character. And because he's up to 25 again, we can destroy half of his shield. So let's do that. Quite a lot. And he is doing... he's creating a debuff. So that, well, basically, he will take more damage the next turns. And with that one, open wounds. No, let's take the fire arrow again, which is doing 10 damage because there's still some shield left. Yeah, they get quite a bit of damage here. And yeah, it's again our water ice dude here. And what can we do here? 6 air damage to all enemies and recovers 20% damage as shield. I mean, he is almost out of shield now. And because he has basically a weakness for water, this is also doing more than usual. But still, you can see that it's only going down to 22. So actually, this is air. This is not even water. So it's not doing more. Wind resistance. All right. They're pretty pointless, I guess. We can do liquid, or we can also remove the debuffs and generate 4 shield. Let's do that then. Alright. And again, let's remove some of the shield. And because he has this mind debuff, we can now use this for some additional damage. Still has some shield left, but now this should do some, yeah, removing the shield and doing some more damage there. And this guy took a lot of damage there. Alright, so what can we do now? He has almost no shield left. It's also not doing much because it's scaling with his shield. But we can grant him 9 shield, so that he is a bit more protected now. This should do some significant damage, well, 5 plus some there. Alright. And he can do, well... Ah, this was just hitting everyone, alright. So now, because he doesn't have any shield anymore, this is not doing as much damage anymore. So, would only do 5 damage, I guess. We can use this one, 4, and the next one is doing double the damage. But, yeah, he got some... Whoa. He got some new shield. So with this character, I'm now doing the Vigilant Guard, which means that he's going to protect him, and any attacks on this character are redirected to that character. Alright. So the resistance is still debuffed, and I will just do the maximum damage this character can do. And here we were... I guess... target... He doesn't have any shield left. It steals the target's buffs. It's not creating... This ally generates... debuffs. Generates 4 shield. Let's do that. Alright. He has some shield left, so this attack is okay again. Okay, I guess because that's the attack got redirected, so he was attacking him. We use that again, doing more damage, and the shield is down again. He has no shield left, so we should probably... caster generates 9 shield and the target generates 9. I'm not sure what happens if I can't do that on my own. We can do a shield badge, but that's pretty pointless in that case. This is still on cooldown. You can see the clock in the bottom right. Yeah, we can use that, but it's not doing a lot. We can do poison, air damage, recovers as shield. Yeah, that might be fine. Alright, he has no shield, so this is again not doing a whole lot. We can do the 4 and create an open wound. And use that, which is now doing double the damage because of the open wound. Attacks of protection, no. Physical damage, yeah, let's do that. It's not much, but he is stunned now. Can't do anything. And liquid damage to steals the target's buffs. This is just a poison. And with that, the enemy is dead. Alright, you win. I'm not sure why it's showing these two guys. We had the water guy with us, which is not displayed here, but in any case, we won.
Congratulations, botanist. You have planted a new tree and made countless discoveries for the future of the Macaw and Uando. Of course, this was but a dream, a simple taste of that which awaits us. The real world, beyond the trees, has a great many more surprises than you could imagine. Ready yourself. There is much ground yet to travel.
Yep, and that's all we can find here in this Preload-Demo version. And I think, yes, you have some kind of an idea what to expect in the game, but then again, not really, because I think what makes Curious Expedition that interesting are the hard decisions you have to make, that every few steps something significant happens. And I felt like with this game, pretty much nothing happens. I mean, it looks nice, and the races and the world and so on, they are very cool. Like, I mean, which game can you play these elephants and snail guys? Or maybe here we still have the like the 3 Kreen in Dark Sunner, maybe a bit similar. But like what we can find in the world for now is a bit underwhelming. I think, yes, we have congratulations, yeah, and I mean I finished that already before. Yes, this is just like the prelude demo version, but usually I would assume that you show a vertical snippet, like let's say the full game has 200 events, and now in this demo version you can only find 10 events or something. But there isn't really any event. Yeah, maybe this one event where we got this additional guy, but not much more. So I would definitely like to see more interesting events in the final game. So in that regard, I'm a bit skeptical. They really have to push that. Otherwise, if you're just running around a kind of boring world, I mean, the story is interesting, the setting is interesting, but boring in terms of there isn't really any interesting events happening. Yeah, I'm a bit skeptical here. But the idea and so on is nice. As I mentioned, you can support it on Kickstarter. For 20 euros you will get the game. The demo is available for free, so you can just go to Steam and download that. It's kind of a different entry on Steam. I will link that down in the video description. And of course, it's also helping the developers if you wishlist the game on Steam if you're interested. And of course, for me it helps if you leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you're interested. And with that, I hope that I was able to give you a good impression of the game. And with that, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.